Hey everyone, it's Jay Lego here, and welcome to my review on the Lego ATAP, and that is short for All-Terrain Defense Pod. Its set number is 7671 and released in 2008 with 384 pieces, which retailed for $40 at the time in 2008. This set was based off episode 3, The Revenge of the Sith, and if you want to get one of these new in the box, it'll cost about $135 on Bricklink, sealed and not used. Unfortunately, I do not have the box, so here's a picture on screen right now so you can look at it. It had that 2008 box art with Darth Vader, which is the same character we have on the 2021 box art for Star Wars, but in Lego version of Darth Vader. It also shows that the walker itself is stomping around, presumably in the forest world of Kashyyyk. Maybe it might be another planet, I personally don't know. And on the side of the box to the left, you can see that it has all the set information I just said and a picture below of the AT-AP's third leg coming out and deploying, so that could have maybe some extra stability if you're trying to play around. Anyways, you can see that it includes the only 2 minifigures on the set on the extra box. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look at the minifigures. The set included 2 of the exact same clone shock troopers. I do find it a tiny bit weird that they're the shock trooper, clone trooper, and not the troopers that appeared in Kashyyyk, like the ones on the screen right now. You can see they have that camouflage design and the scout trooper helmet, like the one from the Empire stormtroopers. Because it's kind of weird that they didn't include them, because from the box art it seems like they are in like a forest planet, like maybe Kashyyyk, and it's based off episode 3, which is what this AT-AP is from. But anyways, they had the design of the Kashyyyk troopers at the time, but they appeared in a larger, more expensive set, so I'm pretty sure they wanted you to buy the more expensive set to get them. The clone trooper design of its helmet is definitely a little outdated to today's standards. Here's a picture of what they look like today, but it is still really good what they have on the 2008 version. However, it's just not what it should be on the updated version, and maybe that's okay. Maybe you have a little nostalgia for this version, but in my opinion, I think it is worse. Maybe you like it better, whatever. This guy right here does not have a printed head like the newer versions. It actually has a black head to fill in for the visor there, because the visor had no visor molded in. And as you can see, it's black all the way around. Nothing on that. And that is, of course, because this has no visor. Unfortunately, he has no leg printing at all, like all around the sides. He does not have any leg printing. You'll just won't be seeing that with this figure. But he does have a nice print, or an acceptable print at the time, for the back torso, little there, for the back torso, and the front torso right there. It's pretty good for at the time, but as you know, today they have a little bit better of prints. He has all white legs, which might be a cool thing if you like exclusivity, because this all white leg figure of the shock trooper did not appear in any other 2008 sets. They had black hips, like you see on the screen right now. So this is an exclusivity if you want to count that towards another point of this set, because it is an exclusivity, and if you like exclusivity, that is awesome for you, because the set has that. And of course, we get 2 of them, so you can play around in them in their stations on the AT-AP's body and act like they're doing something, or play with them, and if that's the type of thing you want to do. Okay, onto the build itself. First of all, you can definitely see it's aged and its questionable building techniques and some of the bad angles on this set. The main cannon is a pretty cool build. You can see that they're built of these cylindrical pieces, and the top of the cannon is primarily made with one large piece, and it is topped off with the large red piece right there. Top cannon, again, made with that one large piece. And there is a particular thing about the set that I do not like, which is the wheel on top of the cannon where you're supposed to be manning it. Okay, you're not driving the cannon, you're going to be firing it. So why did Lego put a wheel? I do not know. I don't know. I think that was a bad mistake and they could have done better there. But the cannon itself is pretty great with these cylindrical pieces again. And this right there, this large piece, I think it's pretty good except for that wheel. It's just kind of confusing why they would have that. I don't know. And they have that little black chair so you can go ahead and put your Lego minifigure in it to fire off the cannon. There is no stud shooters, however, or any like spring-loaded shooters, so you cannot like fire it off or anything. I guess that just has to be involved with your imagination to fire it. The cannon is held up by these two hinge pieces, which is interesting. It's a pretty good design. It's very sturdy. You see, you can have full range of motion. You can't turn to the side, unfortunately, but up and down, sure. Not to the back either. This one, however, you do have full range of motion. You can do anything you want with it, spin it around. Up if you want, and down. Well, down, yeah, a little bit down. Do that. The main exterior of the body of the AT-AP itself is held on with these little hinge pieces right here. I don't know what they're called. I believe they're called hinge pieces. And also is held on by a little pole, and a piece is clipping onto that pole to hold it together. And that is a little preview of the interior. It has various little detailings on the side. It's pretty good. It has two little Republic insignias on both sides, and has a little latch that you can open up to access the interior of the build. And on this side too, has that. It has these light green pieces, if you're wondering why they're there. It is to simulate vegetation on the AT-AP. It has built up over time, it brushing against the leaves. Although I will say it is weird that they did lime green instead of just a darker tone of green, because it kind of throws off the aesthetic of the design with the darks and the light gray. And it has this bright lime green, which I think was not a very good idea. I think they could have done something darker, like they do in the newer models, like up on screen. However, that is pretty minuscule of a problem. Below the front section of the model, there is another cannon to add to the already two existing cannons up top there. And there's another one, probably just for the ground combat, not artillery like this one is. And it's made with one big stick piece, a cone piece, and a Technic piece. Oh, and the back of the model, it has some problems. This is by far the worst part of the model ever on the set. You can see gaping holes that let you see through into the interior. It just does not look good. They could have done something much better, but I guess they didn't know how to do something better at the time with this design. They have that little Technic spine popping out, which isn't actually that bad. It lets those parts connect up and be nice and sturdy. If you look at the flooring inside the interior, you can actually see that it's sand and not like a light gray. I think it would have been way better if they could have kept with the color tone and maybe put like a light gray or a dark gray, but they just did not do that. For some reason they wanted to go with sand, which I think was a horrible idea. It's a pretty big error because it's really obvious to see on the model. but the detailing on these panels right here just is primarily made up with 2 little vents on each side. And one of these pieces, I'm not sure what it's called, but that is at least good. They managed to put some detail on this to maybe combat the horrible gaping ugliness of the back. So going into the interior of the build, if you want to access it, you can either flip these hatches on both sides, or you can flip up this big hatch, which lets you really get into it. It's still very squished, although. And of course you can do all of them at the same time to get most access at a time. So it is very squished in here and not spacious at all. It has a green tube right there, if you can see that. It is a green tube, maybe that might be symbolizing some component of the machine, or the engine, or the power source, the battery of the machine maybe. That is pretty cool detail. We have a gun rack right there to holster your trooper's weapons, and another green piece right there, which it's not the best color for inside, but that's what we get. And 2 little black chairs to seat both of your troopers. And if you manage to do that, you can have someone at the gun rack and someone at the piloting seat right there. You can obviously see some huge gaping holes in this model, and the interior, it's not the best, but it doesn't really matter because you're not really going to be looking in the interior all that often. But again, it's just something that would have been nice if they could have covered that up somehow. They continue the light sand color, which I do not like at all with this 1x4 piece. I'm pretty sure they tried to match this, and they wanted more color variance and contrast against the light gray and dark gray. I think it would have been perfectly fine if they did light gray and dark gray for the flooring, and unfortunately they did not, and they decided to go with sand. There are 2 back legs to the set that are the exact same and have some nice Technic workings into it. Too bad we get to see that. It'd be nice if they could have concealed that a little bit better, but that's all right. It also, we can see that it continues the green, like on top, the green on the legs, and right there with that cheese wedge, and of course on the other side, because they are the exact same. On the sides, there are some gears, and it's really cool. I like them a lot. They really add some more depth to the model and awesome detail. You may have known this, but there is actually a 3rd leg that really sits under the ATAP really discreetly. And if you want to take that out of the underside of the ATAP, you just break it off from the underside and deploy it to give it some extra stability. In the actual canon of Star Wars, this leg was deployed to ensure that the ATAP would stay stable if the cannon was firing, so it wouldn't like tip over, and I think that's a pretty cool fact. It exhibits almost the same exact design of the 2 back legs, only with a couple of modifications to ensure that it can fold up easily and have no problems. You have a pretty great freedom when it comes to the movability of these back legs. You see, you can stretch it all the way up there if you really wanted to do that, and all the way down. So great posability for those back legs. You won't be seeing that same posability on this front leg, but it's still pretty good. You can fold it up and just deploy it back down. So that'll be wrapping up the review for the ATAP. Please let me know if you want more reviews, and please leave a comment so I can know what you want me to review next or what you want me to make a video of. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Goodbye.